So we're going to move over into the next segment where we're going to talk about now you as a coach. Now, why did you decide now, coach, to get involved in coaching?
I remember when I used to run, and when I have an interview or anything like that, the first thing I would say, the first thing that I would say to whoever is interviewing me, that when I retired, I want to go back to my country and help out as much as possible, and to help the less fortunate, like people who were like me when I started to, people were like me when I started to compete. And saying that every day, I didn't really believe it. I didn't really believe it until I decided that, you know what, this is something that I have to do. I have to give back. Giving back to Jamaica it was not one of the easiest things, because when I moved back to Jamaica in 1996 to decide that I want to come back and I want to work as a track coach or be a part of the J3, it was not an easy thing for me to get into,
Right.
because at that time I do not understand why it was so difficult for me as an athlete who have passed through the rank and have given so much to the country, that it would be so difficult for me to transition into the administration, into J trade, for me to give back to children or whatever. Luckily, I got a job with Institute of Sport.
Mm-hmm.
Institute of Sport that would send me out in communities to
Right.
do motivational talk and to do all manner of things in sport. I
Right.
would travel every day, and I realized that yes, I am giving back. Until then, I got a job at my high school to go back there and coach at St. Diego High School. And even that, it wasn't that easy, because it was the hardest thing for people to accept you. When
Right.
you, as the level that I'm coming from
Mm-hmm.
and the level that I reach, I believe that it would be an easy transition.
It wasn't easy
People
at
don't
all.
accept you, but because they believe that, why are you here now? You mean you have gone through, you have done everything. Why you come back? You
Mm.
understand? But because I knew then that this is what I want to do,
Right.
I want to help as much as I can, especially with people in Spanish Town, where I come from.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they couldn't stop me. They could only talk, right? Because
Yeah.
if I say I want to come to my school and coach, even volunteer and coach, because that's what I was doing, volunteer to come home and coach, they would have to fight and do whatever they want to do behind the scene to stop me, because that is what I wanted to do. And I coached St. James High School boys for 9 years.
Right.
And the work I come this close to winning boys championship, that I thought I won, but it was taken away from me.
Yes.
Yeah, that was in 2002, I think. But I have never finished worse than fourth or fifth. I know I'm not going to say that. Maybe fifth. I
Yes.
have never finished out of the top five at boys championship in that 9 years at St. Diego High School. And then I move on to Woolmer's Boys School, and then I build my own track club, and
Yes.
the year I am. And I am back at my school again. You hear?
Yes. You're back at San Diego. We soon get into that, coach. Now, you have worked with both males and females. You want to tell us who do you find it easier to work with?
I can tell you that the females are very easy. The females are very loyal. Once you're working with females on a professional level, and on that level, once they see that you are good for them and you treat them with respect, they will do just about anything for themselves and for you. It's not that difficult. The males, once they become good, it's very hard to control them. They're not controlling them. It's very hard for you to monitor them, because they believe that they arrive and they want to do anything at all they want to do.
Right, right.
That bugs me so much, because there's so much potential in them. But they take up other things on their head and on their mind, and forget the reason why they're trying to do what they want to do. And then when things happen, guess who get the blame?
You.
Coaches get the blame. So,
I can imagine coaches is a male ego that chipped in whenever things are happening for them. So that simple in itself is saying that yes, they are very difficult to work with as opposed to the females. Now, you are the illustrious Racers Track Club at one point. Can you
Yes,
tell
yes.
us what sparked that move away?
Well, I at first I must give thanks to Glenn Mills for giving me a position at Racers Track team. I mean, I was the quarter miles coach, and that's where I get to meet this young man, Jermaine Gonzalez, which is one of my my best achievement as a track coach, as a quarter miler, because he's the one who came and run 44:40 and just barely missed out on a bronze medal in the world championship. But if it wasn't for Glenn Mills, I don't know if I don't know. I probably would still get the opportunity, but then it probably wouldn't come that fast. And then I would probably not meet in Gonzalez. So I have to give him credit for that. You know, things really didn't work out for me at Racers because I am very strong-headed. I believe that I wanted to do my own thing and I wanted to can make decision on my own and all those things.
Right, right.
So we just separated and I went on to form a club by the name of Cameron Blazers. You know, I would say I've done well,
Mm-hmm.
but I can, it could have been better, but you have to have resources.
Right,
You have to have money to run a club.
right,
So I still have the club, but I don't have a lot of athletes.
right. And coach, as a former, well, yeah, as a former 400-meter athlete, you started your own club, goes by the name Cameron Blazers, as you mentioned earlier. You focus mainly on the 400 meters because, of course, you did that event. You seem to have a knack for the quarter mile, right? As it is affectionately called. You want to tell us what that is about? That
It is,
you have.
it is one of the reasons why I want to coach quarter milers because I have gone through so much as an athlete and as and after 1984, I coached myself. From 1984 to 88 to 92, I was my own coach. So the experience that I gained from that and the things that I used to do as an athlete and the things that I should not do, you know, one of the reasons why I want to be a quarter mile coach because I want to teach these young men and these young women the things that they're not to do because you can have all this. Everybody in this world have talent, It's what you trust me. You have your talent and you don't know. Is that when you get your talent, you make the best use of it.
Yes, yes.
So if when I meet these athletes, first thing I would do, I would tell them my story. I would let them know. I would let them understand that the race that they want to run is not a joke. It's a man race or it's a woman race. It's not a race that you can cheat. You can go there and run 100 meters and cheat and still do well. By not training the way you're supposed to train, you're just talented. Same thing as a 200 or any other event. But the 400-meter race,
Uncheated.
you cannot cheat it because if you don't work towards it, there is no way. You might come now and then and run one good race, and that's it. And you believe that you can duplicate that race because you know you have done it before. But if you don't train for it and train properly for it, it won't come back, and it's going to frustrate you. And one of the beautiful thing about 400 meter that when you're in shape, it doesn't feel like it's a race.
Mm-hmm.
It feels so comfortable. The only time you get tired is when you pass the finish line.
Right.
But you have to do the right thing. You have to. It's made up of three different phases. You have to do the condition part of it, and you have to do that well. You have to do the strength part of it, and you have to do that well. And then the easy part comes is when you go out into the when you go out in the third phase, that the competition phase. Because once you're in shape, you don't have to work that hard again.
True.
You understand? You don't, and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and once you can go through the step by step, and you discipline yourself, it's one of the most giving race that you can run because you know if you do the work, you're going to do well. Nobody can cheat you by people who don't train for the race cannot just come and beat you. They might beat you once, but they can beat you in the second or third round going to the final. And I believe that that is what set me on this earth, the 400 meter. And I just believe that I need to give back. And one day, trust me, I am going to find our Olympic gold medalist.
Yes,
because
yes.
I love it too much.
You have always been saying that, coach, and once you believe it, you'll be able to achieve it.
I will never forget it.
Viewers and subscribers, we have come to the end of part 2 of a 3-part series interviewing Coach Bert Cameron. Stay tuned and look out for part 3 coming up. Thanks very much for tuning in to the Coach's Desk.